What I'm saying is the Suns are built for this bleep. Their offense is good. They get after you defensively. They'll lock you up. Whatever you want to do, they're going to make it very hard on you or just flat out take it away from you. Flat out not let it happen. And then once they do that, they get out and they run and they push you in transition. This was supposed to be a team that was so inexperienced and not ready for the big stage. A team that was supposed to melt under the pressure. And for a moment in that Lakers series, it did look like they were just that. But since then, they've ripped off 5 in a row. They're getting more confident by the game. And not only are these guys not afraid of the moment, man, they are owning the moment. They just knocked off the defending champs, and they have last year's Western Conference runner-ups on the ropes. I've said it before. Let me say it again right now. In fact, I can't say this enough. I love the way that James Jones has put together this roster. You got a starting lineup that's got a budding star at center who is perfect for the modern game. You got a superstar guard. You have a Hall of Fame point guard, and you have a pair of wings who can 3 and D with the best of them. Like back when he was playing, James Jones said, quote, "To make it at this level, you have to be great at something, but good at a lot of things," end quote. And that's exactly how he built that roster. That's what that roster is. Each guy is great at something, but really good at a lot of other things. Like Jay Crowder, great at being the defensive enforcer and damn good at shooting the ball when he's locked in. Devin Booker can give you 47, as he did in that closeout game against the Lakers, but he doesn't have to give you 47 in order for them to win. He had 18 points and 10 boards last night, and that was more than enough, way more than enough, because every single Suns starter was in double figures last night. Again. Like, there is no better evidence of the change in the Suns than James Jones trading for Chris Paul. There are win-now moves, and then there's trading for a then 35-year-old point guard with an injury history. What that says is we're going for it all. We're going for it all right now. We're not going to wait for our core to get older. We want to win right this second. And that's exactly what they're doing. And if you thought that Paul was washed, you might want to rethink that too. Because he just turned in a game with 17 points, 15 assists, and 0 turnovers in his last 5 games in the postseason. 53 assists and 4 turnovers. I mean, like a crazy, crazy ratio. And freakish control of the game. And old man CP3 still has that killer no look. Sledgehammer. I'm not saying you have to love this guy. I'm not saying you even have to like this guy. I'm saying he might be one of the toughest guys in the league to like, because for every great game, there's also a flop or a nut shot or an attempted shoulder dislocation. So I understand why a lot of people don't like this guy, but you've got to tip your hat to him. This guy is a damn good player, even at this advanced state in his career. In fact, he's as good as there's ever been at that position. Yes, he's got a history of playoff heartbreaks and injuries at the worst possible time. But when you watch this team, it's hard not to think that things could be different this year, that he could actually get to the finals. Can you imagine that guy bouncing around the way he has and having the opportunities he's had and the career he's had, but getting to and maybe winning it all with the Suns? I mean, how weird is that? I know you Suns fans are thinking that. They're not thinking of getting to the conference finals. They're thinking of sweeping their way there. I mean, that joint was rocking again last night. And in the second half, they busted out a Suns in 4 chant. The reason I'm so hyped up on this, you've got the fans chanting Suns in 4, Suns in 4. The reason I'm hyped on this is a team that won 19 games 2 years ago. 2 years ago, the only thing they were going to do in 4 games was lose 4 games. Like a sentence that involves the words Suns and 4 was going to be about tee times for players on the local golf course. The fact that the fans are chanting for a sweep in the second round only 2 years after the fact is incredible. And I'll say it again. James Jones needs to be getting more credit for this entire thing. When he was hired as GM, they were coming off a 19-63 season. Now they're not only in the playoffs, their fans are all up in here chanting for a sweep. And they look dominant. And the Nuggets, well, they look like the opposite of dominant, especially last night. Head coach Michael Malone heard those chants. He heard those chants, and he was pissed. Not at the fans, but at his own guys. See, that's part of the beauty of Michael Malone. You know where you stand with this guy. He gives it to you straight. Most coaches would remind you that a series doesn't start until somebody loses at home, and that his guys will be different when they get back to Denver. Yet, not Malone. That's not what he's saying. In fact, he's saying just the opposite. He's blasting his guys publicly, and there was more where that came from. Uh-oh! I mean, dude, he just dropped the Q word on his own team. The one word you almost never, ever hear from a coach. And when you do, you know he's pissed. And Malone was pissed. He just said it. My guys quit. Yeah, I get it. Look, you're going to lose games, right? That'll happen, especially on the road in the postseason against a team as good as the Suns. But you can't lose game 1 by 17 and then come back and lose game 2 by 25. You can't come out of game 1 feeling like you've got to be more physical. You have to impose your will on the opposition and then have a game like that. And both times in the second half it happened. They got worked. I know the Nuggets are banged up. They're about as banged up as you can be and still be standing. It's a tough crew. They've got a lot of heart, a lot of grit, a lot of talent. They just haven't shown it in the second halves of games 1 and 2. And trust me, my man, Michael Malone, he's not looking to drop any lipstick on any pig. Quote, that's why we got our ass kicked. Stone cold truth. I love it. I mean, maybe they don't like hearing that. Maybe they don't want to hear their head coach say publicly that they quit. I actually love a coach who's going to let it rip like that. And incredibly, he still wasn't done. Hey, listen, you might say, hey, easy, coach. It's only one game. What he's saying is it's not only one game. It was both games, and we can't have it. You know, one thing to lose, another to lay down. One thing to lose, another to quit. Look, personally, I'm not going to go as far as to say that the Nuggets quit last night. Then again, since there's not a coach that I respect more than Michael Malone, since he said they quit, I might have to agree with him. I know this much. They didn't do a damn thing to slow, much less stop the Suns. Guys in black jerseys were doing whatever the hell they wanted, both offensively and defensively. And as Malone said, if they play like this when they return to Denver, it is going to be a really short series. That's something you never hear. You do not hear a head coach, especially in the postseason, lay his guys out like that. And again, I'm going to say stone cold truth. Well, I mean, what can you say? They got blown out in game 1. They should have been ready for game 2. And then game 2 was even worse than game 1. I see the guy working. I know why he's so pissed. And credit to the Suns, man. Put some respect on them. They look great.